Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rangers Review Morning Briefing. It is Tuesday, the 18th of March. I'm Derek Clark, and I'm joined this wonderful morning by Chris Jack. How goes it, Chris?
Not too bad, not bad. How's things?
All good. Still marvelling after Sunday's brilliant performance and result at Parkhead. And we're just speaking off there. You can tell it's been an old firm game, given the fallout from it, which we'll touch on in some detail in this show over the course of the next 30 minutes. Before we touch on your brilliant piece on Hamza Igamane on the website this morning, Chris, what did you make of the game at Parkhead?
All went well in the end. I said to Josh on our post-match show, Rangers could have been out of sight in the first half for the two goals that they scored, the chances that they had. When it got back to 2 each, I think like a lot of Rangers fans had the fear that it was only going to go one way, and Celtic looked the more likely winners at that stage. But you have to give the management team and give the players a lot of credit. They stuck at it, and they then also get the rewards in such remarkable fashion. It's a brilliant finish from Igamane. Will lead us on nicely to the piece on the site this morning, but I thought he took it really well. It looked like the chance could maybe get away from him, being closed down, balls bobbling around the edge of the area. But once he managed to get out his feet, now what a strike it was! Goalkeeper had absolutely no chance, and the celebrations in that away end speak for themselves. The celebrations amongst the players speak for themselves. Yes, it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things of a title race, but as myself and Stevie spoke about on the talking point last week, as we discussed on the briefing last Friday and ahead of the game, Old Firm games always mean something. So yes, there's no silverware at stake for Rangers on this occasion, but if you don't have nerves heading into these games, if you don't have nerves during these games, and if you can't enjoy a performance and a result and an occasion like that, you're in the wrong game. You're supporting the wrong football team. Now this is what it's all about, and it's understandable why the Rangers fans, as you say, Derek, they've been in fairly chipper mood the last couple of days, and it's always a welcome change. Now, we also spend a lot of time on the show looking at the comments and taking feedback. Spend a lot of time on social media. Spend a lot of time speaking to other Rangers fans and other key Rangers figures. It just makes such a difference once everyone is in a good mood. And Sunday, on the back of Thursday, on the back of the previous Thursday, it certainly put people in a far better mood.
Yep, jumping out of bed the last couple of days, so thank you to Rangers for that. Before we crack on, just a quick word for our podcast sponsors. The Rangers Review now brought to you by S1 Jobs. If it's time to hand in your transfer request, then head over to s1jobs.com and upload your CV today. With thousands of jobs across Glasgow, Edinburgh and the surrounding area, you'll find the one at S1 Jobs. So start your search today. And just a bit of housekeeping, folks. If you want to get your comment in, you have to be a subscriber. Remember, it is totally free, but make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us here at the channel. Right, we'll talk about some of the ridiculous fallout from the game. Chris, before we do that, you can find a brilliant piece on Hamza Igamane on the website from Mr. Jack himself, and charts his move to Rangers and, of course, his recent call-up, his expected call-up to the Moroccan senior setup for the upcoming international matches. I very much hope that he gets game time in those. I'm sure he will. But for those that haven't read it yet, Chris, can you give us an idea of what they can expect when they do read it?
Really charting his rise through his career. So looking at his upbringing in Morocco, some like a younger formative stages of his career, and then really kind of looking at how he's gone from a complete unknown for a lot of Rangers fans, or for almost every Rangers fan last summer, to a guy that's now been given a merited international call-up and has now got an old firm winner to his credit. So I've spoken to Chris Van Poel, who's the Moroccan FA technical director. And people might remember a number of times when Philippe Clement was speaking about Igamane, he mentioned that he spoke to someone to almost get the inside track and get a bit of a scout report. Well, Chris Van Poel is the man that Philippe Clement spoke to. He was the man that Clement made the phone call to say, what is Igamane like? Is he a player worth going for? Van Poel then put Clement onto Issam Sharai as well, who also gave Igamane a decent write-up as well, thankfully. And the rest, as they say, is history. Igamane becomes a Rangers player. He scores goals in the Europa League. He produces that performance in Nice. Has a bit of a down spell over recent weeks, as you would expect for a younger player. But he then produces, I say, that moment on Sunday, which is heading him into an international break where it looks like he will become a full internationalist, and it's no more than he deserves for the work that he's put in over the last 6 months. And one of the main themes of that piece is the way that he's adapted to a new continent, a new city, a new club, a new style of football. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for being able to do that.
Yeah, he took his goal ever so well on Sunday, and as I said to Johnny yesterday, what a way to end his goal drought. It was a stunning finish, it really was. So yeah, delighted for him, and as I touched on, very much hope that he gets game time with Morocco. That will be a proud moment for Hamza Igamane, and certainly had a couple of Moroccan chaps on recently to talk about Issam Sharai, and they're very excited about Hamza. We're actually going to get the Moroccan Grinta lads on as well that gave us that Pedro Caixinha style PowerPoint presentation on Hamza earlier in the season when he did sign. We're going to get them back on at the start of next month to discuss how he will have got on with Morocco and how he's been viewed over there in his homeland, as well as discussing potential other players that Rangers should be looking at in the summer. I mean, Hamza's been a big success, but there will be other gems in there. One for your diaries, folks. Start of April, we'll hope to get that recorded. Right, let's get to some other points that are coming in. Well, first of all, Greg says, what happened to the Rossi and Biaggi picture in the background? I'm not in my living room today, Greg. I'm not at my humble abode, so that is the reason why it's not been stolen or anything like that, so don't worry about that, for those of you that are big fans of MotoGP. As I touched on at the top of the show, you can understand it's an Old Firm weekend with the ridiculousness of some of the newspaper reports and online reports coming out from the game. A lot of it is centering on Václav Černý, who celebrated, it's fair to say, wildly after Hamza's winning goal. The winger was spotted spraying some Celtic fans with water from his bottle as he made his way up to his teammates to celebrate with the Rangers fans. Now, apparently, it's become a police investigation. A Police Scotland spokesperson said officers received information. Inquiries are ongoing. This is utterly pathetic, Chris, is it not?
If you ever needed an insight into the weird, wonderful and wacky world of Scottish football and the weird, wonderful and wacky world of the Old Firm, this story is perhaps it's not the first one that we've had over the years, and we know it's not going to be a last one. But I think you used the word ridiculous. That kind of sums it up. It was a spur of the moment thing. He obviously, as we touched on right at the top of the show, to have an Old Firm winner in that manner, it's obvious it's going to mean a lot to the players. I don't think it was a premeditated thing. I don't think Václav has been sitting on the bench thinking, well, if Hamza goes and sticks one in the top corner, I'm going to run down the touchline like Jose Mourinho and start putting some water at the bottle as if I'm on top of a Formula One podium. So it's one of these spur of the moment things, and I think that the reaction from the Rangers fans has been the right one. They've laughed it off. They've said, look, it's a nonsense. A nonsense state of affairs that this has become a potential police matter. It's a nonsense that there's talk about Černý being hauled up in front of the SFA as well. There's no need for any of that. It's some of the jokes and the one-liners and the memes and the gifs and stuff that have brought a smile to the face over over the last couple of days. Anyone who's taken this too seriously, taken themselves far too seriously, and really has to reevaluate their outlook on the world, I think.
Yeah, I almost spilled some water on me there when I drank. I was worried I might have to report myself to the police there. But yes, Colin says, don't squish that, Terry. Yeah, utterly ridiculous. I've just this image when I seen the story doing the rounds. I would love Grado to be the policeman in charge of attending that inquiry from famously of Scot Squad, of course, and his partner in crime to go and tend to that. But yeah, an absolute nonsense. There is, I've seen reports though that he may get a bit of an SFA ban, perhaps. I've seen Dujon Sterling may also be in hot water as well for his hilarious Instagram post. Do you expect that, Chris? Maybe the governing body getting involved?
If I was going to pull Dujon up for anything, it would be his English skills for using the asterisk on.
I think he knew what he meant. I think he knows fine well what he meant there.
I think if from a journalistic perspective, he's put them in the wrong place. So that would be the only thing that would pull him up for there. Again, it's in the grand scheme of things. Is it worthy of a ban? No, we can't talk up this. We can't talk up this rivalry and say it's the best game in world football and it means so much to the fans and it's the best rivalry because there's so much go into it. You can't talk it up as that and sell it as that to the rest of the world and then get yourself involved in such nonsense as this. So again, nothing would surprise you, but I would hope a slap on the wrist, if that's as far as it goes for both Tierney and Sterling. I don't think there's any need for any of them to be hauled up to Hell Street or Hampden, put it that way.
Yeah, a la like Terry Butcher and who else was it the famous was it Frank McAvenny? Remember back in the day, it was Butcher, McAvenny. Chris Woods was hauled up before the judges as well. It was quite something. Headkeeper says, I honestly thought Tierney done a Cantona. Yeah, seeing the reaction, watching it on television, I was like, what's going on here then? But yeah, you could not make it up. You really couldn't. It defies belief. Gordon with the point as well. I've seen this doing the rounds yesterday. He says, what about the players getting objects thrown at them? There were several objects thrown at the players after Hamza's goal. At this point in time, I don't know if Rangers have made a complaint about that, but yeah, it was evident we did see that happening as well. So let's see what happens with regards to that. Other bits and pieces from the game, Chris. Of course, Ridvan came back in at left back. It was confirmed that Jefty was out due to personal reasons. Ewan raises the point here. Do we know what the personal issues with Jefty were? I haven't seen anything else of note to come out from that. Do you have any further info on that?
Just to pick up on the previous comment first, I think that's a very fair point to make, and a point I think we should make. If you're looking at the seriousness of incidents, an Instagram post is completely irrelevant. A bit of water is completely irrelevant. Things being thrown at players is not completely irrelevant. That's the most serious incident out of all of them. Now, it doesn't matter what has been thrown. You cannot go to a game and you cannot throw items either onto the pitch or at the dugout or at the players. That's something that we've seen in this game before. It's rightly been condemned before. It's rightly had action taken against the perpetrators before, and I would hope that would be that process would be followed through here once again. You cannot do that. No matter. Yes, I know those fans would have been upset and they would have been hurting at the manner of the Igamane winner, and the Rangers obviously won the game in those circumstances. You can't react like that. So I think if
I've never understood that throwing stuff at players. I've never understood that. It's just it's not even juvenile. It's beyond that.
It's completely unacceptable. It's something that I said we have seen it in this game before from both sets of fans and individuals on both sides of the divide have paid the cost for that, and rightly so. And anyone who does it in the game that has just gone, or anyone who does it in future games, should have the same course of action taken against them. So I think that was an important point to be raised there. On Tuesday, not had any update on that. I know Barry said pre-match it was a personal situation, not had anything else on that. So hopefully it's nothing too serious, and we do see him back in action sooner rather than later. When I actually saw the team, I was pleased that call had been made. Not pleased, obviously, in the circumstances. If it had just been a tactical thing, then you can understand it. It sounds like Barry's hand has maybe been forced there slightly. So now hopefully it's nothing serious from Jeffrey's point of view. But I thought Ridvan played well, did his job, and I think people were actually pleased to see him come into the side, because safe to say, I don't think Jeffrey has had a great. It's a great time of late, so I think missing out may not have done him any harm in a football sense, but also personal circumstances are the most important thing.
They absolutely are, and I thought Ridvan was good on Sunday. Up against it, did well. Kuhn was poor, but he stood up well against them, and I know they moved Jota over there in the second half, but he's had a fair good few days, has Ridvan Yilmaz. I loved that image of him when Rangers won in penalties the other night, and he was praying and just fell over when the boy lashed it over the crossbar. He may have been the next penalty taker, I'd imagine, and also, of course, being a Besiktas lad, beating Fenerbahce, you cannot beat that. So, he's had quite a few days at Ridvan Yilmaz, so delighted for him. Other bits of news to come out following the weekend. Mohamed Diamande was speaking. I thought he had an excellent game on Sunday. He and Raskin were superb in the middle of the park. It took his goal very well as well. The pair of them loved that run, and a little assist from Nico Raskin to lay on a plate for Mohamed Diamande. He's been speaking about the impact Barry Ferguson has made since arriving. He said that you can see how amazing it is. He went there and brought the tactics, and we got the win. He said he's really pushing the players, and he's an example that we followed. We know all about what he did for Rangers and what he can bring to the club. We use him as an example, and we try to push on ourselves. I am happy that he is helping us. Personally, I've seen some videos of him, and I think he's helping me because he's the same position as me, and I think he was a good player. Yeah, not half Mo, and I'm just happy that he's giving me the advice that I'm trying to deliver for him on a pitch. I'm happy that we got the win, and we all knew it was not going to be easy. 3 points was the most important thing, and in the dressing room, it was just chill, cool, and we move on. And he continued, we know we're still behind by a lot of points, and it is just a win. We are happy with that, but we are not celebrating like we are winning the league or something like that. So interesting stuff there from Mohamed Diamande. Touched on this with Johnny yesterday, Chris. I very much enjoy that midfield three, Barron, Diamande and Raskin. I think it works.
It does work, and I think it's something that should probably have been tried before now. Fair play to Barry for coming in and deciding that was one of the tactical changes to make. And I think having Barron in there now, overall, he's had a decent debut season. I thought he started fairly well, has had some difficult times after that. Also had his injury issues. He spoke a bit about that in the mix zone after the first leg in Istanbul, and then again pre-match last week. So it has been a season that's offered challenges for Conor Barron. Could Rangers do better than him? Probably, but while he's there, and given the expectation that was on him and the need for him to perform this season, I think overall he's done. It's a fairly good debut campaign for him. He allows Raskin and Diamande to be better. He does a job that frees them up a wee bit, and I thought the two of them, Raskin and Diamande, were really, really impressive again on Sunday. Nico does really well with that first goal. So you don't expect him to be winning headers and scoring goals from corners, but he does really well. It's a nice run, lovely flick, and finds that back corner. And the link up for the second one is just really nice play to have. It's a great ball. Raskin's run to get away from Engels and then be in the right position to flick the ball into path of Diamande. Nice touch, a bit of composure. We know that he's got that. We know that he's really cool and calm on the ball. He showed that, finished it well. And after that, I thought the two of them were, played really well, aided by Conor Barron. I spoke to someone on Monday about the midfield issue. And if it feels like Rangers they're just a body short in there, because when you have to make that change, as we've seen, due to tiredness, you do need another option. Bailey Rice we think is going to be that option for the future. Not quite that option right now. When you get into Lawrence or to Hadji or to Bayrami, it's a different type of midfielder you're adding in there. It's not quite the same. So if you are going to go with a 3, I think you are asking quite a lot of that 3 to get through the minutes. But thankfully, all 3 of them are fairly robust and look like they can do that. But it's certainly been a good few days. Barron coming back in over in Istanbul, he's played some big games since then. I said Raskin Diomande certainly contributing. So I think that's the interest to see how Barry sets the side up now for other domestic games. Now this plan, this way of playing, it's worked in a big European tie. It's worked at Parkhead, where you've got some of the games at Ibrox, for example, coming up. It's a very different style of play, I think, that's going to be required. So interested to see how the defence shapes up for these games, but also the shape of that midfield as well.
Yep, Jock Blue says, remember we have Lyle Cameron incoming? Yeah, absolutely, in the summer. Very much looking forward to seeing how he develops and gets on at Rangers. But the midfield area is strong at this moment in time. I would like it. I know Cameron's coming in, but perhaps one more addition in the summer. That's bearing in mind that Diomande and Raskin stay where they are. Just on that point on games coming up and whether he sticks with a formation that is proven fruitful against Celtic and Fenerbahce. David, with a point. Derek, do you guys think new formation will get us more goals against Dundee? The thing is, it's not like Philip Clement's in charge anymore. This coaching team are pretty pragmatic. They're not reactive, Chris. If they see something that isn't working, that they're quite happy to change things, change personnel and change formation. They've got a lot of time to work on Dundee, of course. We may see probably a more offensive looking lineup. How do you see them shaping up? I know we've got plenty of time to look ahead to that game, but I mean, do you stick with the 3 at the back? I'm not too sure.
I would be surprised. I don't think Rangers need 3 centre halves in a game against Dundee at Ibrox or in a number of other domestic games. So I would be surprised if that's the way that he goes. But I think Barry has shown he's not just he's not just going to pick a system and then stick to it. It's not a case of this is how I want to play, let's just go for it. The first couple of games also had the back 4 changed over in Istanbul. It worked really well, worked to an extent in the one game. Obviously it did in terms of the result, perhaps not the performance. It worked in terms of the first half at Parkhead. I thought Rangers were really, really excellent. Second half didn't really work as well, but he's shown that he's going to be flexible. He's shown that he's not afraid to make changes in games. So I think we will see Rangers go a bit more attacking in these Ibrox games. Does Igamane come in for a start? We've not really seen an awful lot of Danilo of late. He'll be really eager to try and come in and try and get a start as well. And then that brings you on to guys like Hadji trying to get himself back in the team. Oscar Cortez has become the forgotten man. We don't really know what stage of his recovery he's at. He also played in the B team games early on last week, I think that game was. So he's potentially someone with another few days under his belt on the training ground during this break that could come back into contention. So I would be surprised if we see it. Barry saying, "This is what I've got. I'm going to stick to it." Come the next European tie, I think we will see Rangers revert back to what has worked over this last hat-trick of games. But certainly heading into some of the domestic games, I think Rangers need as many attacking players, need as many goal scorers on the pitch as possible. So I think we'll see that from a management team that has shown they are willing to go and try out different things.
Yep, Rangers away to Dundee, Saturday the 29th of March at 5:30 kickoff, which is an absolute ball ache, let's be honest. Are you heading back up to Dens Park for that game, Chris?
I've not had that particular conversation with our mutual friends yet. I think it may well be, because I did the first Dens Park one. Josh was up at Tannadice a few weeks after that. So we might just alterate it. That I do the blue half of Dundee and he does the orange half of Dundee going forward. But I'll definitely be working. But as you say, it's a dreadful kick-off time from a working perspective. Maybe a better one for some of the fans. I think they would probably prefer a 5:30 rather than a 12 o'clock. Gives you an extra couple of hours on your supporters bus or in the boozer before you head along. So a better one for the fans, but from a working perspective, it's not a kick-off time that I'm a huge fan of. Put it that way.
No, me neither. Rangers next at Ibrox. Hibs, who are in very fine form at this moment in time. They are third in the table, coming to Ibrox on the 5th of April. And then we've got Athletic Club Bilbao, that huge Europa League quarter-final on Thursday, the 10th of April. So glad that Rangers got past Fenerbahce, and we can look forward to that game. It's going to be a mouth-watering double-header, that's for sure. Some interesting points coming in. We'll get to them before we wrap up today. I love this. Haggis Light says, saw the bold Johnny McFarlane out enjoying his lunch yesterday. Was going to say hello, but didn't want to put him off his tasty burger. Just think of Samuel L. Jackson when you said that there, buddy. But do not put Johnny off his lunch, that's for sure. That is a given. But thank you for your kind words. And at this point, I'm interested to get your thoughts as well, Chris. Ross raises this question. I know this was touched on yesterday with Johnny, but I'd be going all out to keep Czerny if we can this summer. He's a game changer and not a project player. Your views on Czerny, we've discussed it before. If a deal can be struck for me, do it. However, I just think he's going to have loads of offers on the table in the summer, and whether Rangers can match any of them, I'm not too sure.
Perhaps he sums up Rangers' record in the transfer window and in the transfer market last couple of seasons. They keep signing loan players that are very good and that the fans would like to stay, but they just can't keep a hold of them. I fear this is going to be another one to follow. Sima last season, Tillman before that. I get the point from Ross to say he's a game changer. He's not a project player. Rangers have obviously gone in a different direction in the transfer market. They will continue to go in a different direction in terms of how they scout players and recruit players, sign players and sell players. That doesn't mean to say that every player has to be a Hamza Igamane or has to be a Jefte type. You will see Rangers put a bit more money into more established players. I think we have seen comments from Czerny's agent, was it last week or the week before? He didn't exactly sound overly enthusiastic about Rangers' chances of holding on to him. I think his performances in Europe, certainly, they will bring in a different a number of clubs to the table. So it may be a case of, even if Rangers wanted to do a deal, there's every chance that it's just not financially viable. Now, of course, there's a certain takeover that's on the horizon, and that's going to change so much in terms of a new director of football or sporting director, also a new manager and a different transfer budget potentially. So we don't really know what kind of markets Rangers are going to be shopping in at the top end of their budget. So we will still see them, I think, go down the project player route in terms of an Igamane or a Jefte or an Nsiala. We will see them have that kind of signing at the top end when they're spending money. Is it at Bayrami level, 3.5 million, or is the scope there to go 6, 7, 8 million on a guy who say, well, it's going to be a bit more of a sure thing. So I don't see. I've made this point on a couple of shows that we've been talking about the takeover. It's not going to be a case of there's a big budget of X number of millions, go and spend it and let's go and try and blow everyone out the water. That's not the way that the 49ers and Andrew Kavanagh want to do business. That's not the way that Rangers can do business because of also the financial rules that are in place. So I think you will see someone who's a bit more of a statement signing, if you like. I think from the new owner's perspective, that makes a bit of sense. Is Czerny going to be that player? I would like it to be because of the impact that he's made, and I think that he could continue to make. But I say those comments from the agent last week, the week before, I think they put a bit of a dampener on everyone's excitement on Czerny, unfortunately.
Yeah. As Super Ali said yesterday on Talk Sport, he should be in line for a knighthood, given his exploits at Parkhead on Sunday. Well said, Ali. We'll wrap up with this. Martin Bain, I think it's that one. He says, "Good morning, gents. Watched at Old Firm in a great sports bar in Thailand with a few fellow Bears. Super stuff. If you're in Bangkok, Martin, I'd recommend you go and see the Bangkok Bears, a super Rangers supporters club over there. Lots of expats and Rangers fans over in that neck of the woods. Right, we'll wrap up there. Big thank you to Chris, as ever, for joining us, and a thank you to you all for tuning in to the show. It's very much appreciated. Those of you that are Rangers Review Extra members, I will be on with Joshua later on this afternoon. He's delved into the game in more detail to look at how Rangers managed to emerge victorious. So we'll discuss that. If you like your XG, or as someone jokingly said, we were talking about eggs yesterday because Johnny said he had egg on his face with regards to Barry Ferguson's appointment and turning his views around. Someone said he'll be looking at the XG. So hats off to whoever that was. Do love a bit of comedy on the show. But you will be back with Joshua later on this afternoon. So we'll speak to you then. If I don't speak to you then, enjoy your Tuesday. And we'll speak to you tomorrow morning. Bye for now.